welcome to another episode of Uncle Owen's Barbecue. I hope the hyperspace traffic didn't cause you too much aggravation, as some of those ships can be quite large, but are not as bad in your way as they are on your tail. But if the transportation has you excited, let's calm you down with a selection of some of the most focused fighters. Some, who are pilots, are just as grounded in the air as they are at sea level. These are the daring, the impetuous, the foolhardy, and the harebrained, resistant to the last breath. A sandstorm appears to be approaching, so why don't we go inside? There you can soak up the rotisserie ambiance as I provide the characteristics of today's special.
We were a spice runner?
You were a stormtrooper?
Were you a spice runner?
Were you a scavenger? We could do this all night.
Voberdand. We already have this orange mechanic suit on Rose, and therefore half of the problem is solved. However, with the right mold, we should be able to produce this insubordinate Tarsant fairly early.
Well, earlier than usual.
His medical files are sealed, so I can only speculate that he was a deformity, which may have helped cause the Monoshiwa look. But people say that their higher power doesn't make mistakes.
Oh, there he goes with that crap again. Keep it in church, man.
Ibn Dand, older, wiser, and possessing a style similar to Anthony Kiedis, is part of the ground crew on Asian Claws, where you can see this red-hot chili pepper actually working on an X-Wing. And later, after the battle on Exegol, he and his son Voberdand will celebrate together, and probably for the first time, share similar interests.
Look, Mommy! Daddy peed in his pants, too!
Jessica Pava. This was Luke Skywalker's biggest fan when it came to his piloting skills. When she joined the Resistance, it was her goal to become a pilot, and a task she'd accomplish after much work. Occasionally, she would ask C-3PO to tell stories of Luke's travels. Pava was probably the only person who didn't get tired of hearing the sound of the protocol droid's voice.
You ever shut up, pal?
She would be in great company with Poe Dameron, Elo Estee, Temmin Wexley, and Ka'ai Threnali. Pava's astromech droid RO4LO already has its own figure, but isn't yet in our collection. Taliesin Lintra. Sure, you could say that we were given this figure already, except that was in 5 POA. Without the last name, I suppose this could be a completely different Tally.
Different how?
I mean, if you think about it, the name Antilles isn't that uncommon.
Why do you want to know my name?
Giving credit to heroes like Blue Leader Antok Merrick, who perished in the Battle of Scarif and shared the call sign with Lieutenant Tali Lintra.
Copy that, Red Rooster.
We saw her in the cockpit of an A-Wing when Kylo Ren uninvitedly fired upon the Raddus in tempting matricide. And I'm not saying women can't be perpetrators of this act, but
It's a guy thing.
if it's worth a card back, perhaps we'll see it released as a set with Callie Lintra, the younger sister of Taliesin Lintra, who you'll find among the stars.
All over the place?
Talisin's death was the driving force behind Callie's decision to join the Resistance.
Viva la Resistance!
Callie fought in the Battle of Exegol. She too piloted an A-Wing, just like her sister. But Callie was able to take on multiple TIE fighters before she received a personal handbook for the recently deceased.
She's dead?
She even took a few of them down with her. They won't be forgotten, but they can't be remembered in 5 POA. How else can we fight the First Order?
There is no fight against the First Order. Not one we can win.
Claude. This possibly telepathic Trodo-Tramre is telepathetic.
That's not a word.
Claude committed identity theft through the means of mistaken identity. Who he was mistaken for, I don't know. And paperwork can get so boring. Therefore, sometimes, unfortunately, accidents happen. Less accidents when you don't have hands and can argue why something is your job.
You want me to grab hot wires?
How do you know they're hot?
Who was the genius who believed that an alien without hands would be a qualified candidate to fill your opening for a mechanic?
I'm badly in need of news. Help me out.
But get ready for a problem, or 3, because you and Claude do not share the knowledge of a single word's meaning. 0.
Zot nix nada.
Anything you attempt to convey will be lost in translation, such as spacesuits only being fitted for non-humanoids, a fuel leak in need of immediate repair, or just a simple request to adorn just one article of clothing.
You mind putting on some pants? I find it a little weird I have to ask twice.
He somehow survives the Battle of Exegol, and who knows how long his lifespan is, or if his species will ever come back for him and try him on his crimes of impersonation. This guy needs to be produced, and if we needed to vote, it would definitely move Claude into a running for 2028.
You could say yes or no, and that was for you, but everybody got to say yes or no.
Bolio. It doesn't really matter what this Avician did for a living. He was a Resistance sympathizer. He was released from work early soon after helping discover a spy within the First Order and came face to face with Kylo Ren, who sought the information in Bolio's head, and after removing it, the Supreme Leader would leave the rest of the body behind on the Sintic Glacier colony.
You got a corpse minus the head.
Without him, we wouldn't have found out early on that there was a traitor within the First Order. Unfortunately, Bolio couldn't decrypt the file sent to R2-D2. Not that it would have altered his decision. He should come packaged with and without a connected head.
Why?
For two reasons: the authenticity and the play value. These figures are pieces of a universe that only make me half as happy when they are released than they do when I'm able to find them.
Maybe we're not supposed to find the pieces. Maybe we are the pieces.
Victory Ray. Using her staff that she made with items found on Jakku, Ray built a new weapon recycling some of those parts to create a yellow-bladed lightsaber. And no matter how you feel about that,
it is a movie. Do not act things out from it because you are disturbed or pissed off.
But if you want the hilt without a blade, every Ray comes with a staff. Make one yourself, but don't expect any Force ghosts to give you their seal of approval.
What the hell are you doing in my graveyard?
The figure itself would be a repackage of the TVC-156 Rise of Skywalker Ray, but it isn't hard to fathom that people would buy a variant of any kind, despite anyone's objection.
She still embodies all the awful stereotypes she did before.
But she's got a new hat.
As for the main character, she does seem to have a lot less variants than Din Djarin does. I'm not suggesting we have 10 unnecessary variants of Rey. If you look at the 5 POA figures, we already do.
What's going on?
And I don't know if this is someone's idea of a joke, but I know it's not funny. Beaumont Kin. This professor of history focused his studies on the Jedi, the Sith, and their battles across the galaxy over the eons of time.
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
It stays a constant hobby of his. After the Battle of Exegol, Captain Kin will return to his interests. Quite intact, the first to read ancient Sith and Jedi records in years as the main historian in charge of the Sith Temple in Exegol.
Thanks a lot, Wikipedia.
Colonel Aftab Akbar. This Mon Calamari loved his father, Gale Akbar, and studied all of his battles. After the aging admiral was killed with a blaster fire that aimed to exterminate General Organa.
I'm sorry. This is an emotional moment.
Aftab resolved to avenge his father and assisted General Organa in acquiring a fleet of ships to fight the First Order. This would solve only one of the General's many problems.
No one single answer is ever the answer.
So no matter if you were still in need of resistance members, be that humans, aliens, ground crew, pilots, family members belonging to these choices, or even a Jedi, this special has enough of all of them to add to any secret base on Dakar, Crate, or Asian Kloss.
Awesome!
And after the Battle of Exegol, don't dismiss everyone so fast. You don't know when you'll have to rally the troops and fight for the galaxy.
I saved the world.
As always, if you missed any portion of today's special, please stand by as it will be repeated.
What did you say?
Vober Dand,
No one likes you, Dan.
Ibden Dand,
He's too distracted by his bald spot.
Jessica Pava,
The ladies are the Ronin forces.
Taliesin Lintra,
But we don't have time to go into that.
Callie Lintra,
I think I'll miss you most of all.
Claude,
Careless.
Bolio,
He lost his head.
Victory Ray,
Is that even a threat?
Beaumont Kin,
He's harmless.
Colonel Aftab Akbar. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment. Tell us what we're doing right. Or if you wish, tell us what we're doing wrong.
There's nothing more exhilarating than pointing out the shortcomings of others.
For Uncle Owen's Barbecue, I'm Dr. Afra, and I want to send an extra thank you to everyone who stopped in for today's special.